Welcome to another edition of The Way I See It with your host, Ralph Williams. And now, without further ado, Ralph Williams.
And good evening and welcome to another edition of The Way I See It. I am Ralph Williams. It's great to be here with you this evening here. As always, we're here every single Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. and we are here. And I got to tell you, we have a lot to talk about tonight, including the blast segment.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
All right. Yes, you better call somebody, call your friend, call your cousin, call someone, get them here on the way for The Way I See It here tonight. Brought to you by our studio sponsors, First Line Consultant Services. Give them a call today. First Line Consultant Services, 1-877-926-6982. That's 1-877-926-6982. It's the number to give them a call, because I tell you what, they have their website for you, and it's one of the better websites you'll ever have. They create it, they manage it, and they upload any videos you want for a low monthly price. So give them a call, 1-877-926-6982. Our studio sponsor, First Line Consulting Studios Incorporated. All right, next, we're going to talk about Hillcrest Farm. Hillcrest Farm is a farm and beef in Richmond, Ohio. They have grain hay beef, some of the best in the business. And call them today, 740-346-5442, 740-632-2894. I got to tell you, they got some great package deals as well. And one of them is their variety box, $195. You get 4 pounds of burgers, 10 pounds of ground beef, 2 packs of filet mignon, 2 roasts, 10 steaks, excuse me, all for $195. And then they have their roast box, 7 roasts, 30 pounds of ground beef. And then they have for $200. Now you can have 7 different Sunday meals and 7 roasts for 7 weeks. So there you are right there. And then the ground beef box, $95. That's 20 pounds of ground beef. And that is for $95. That to me is the best deal around. Tonight I had cheese tortellini with a meat sauce. And guess where the meat came from? That's right. It came from Hillcrest Farm. All right. So later on tonight, we're also going to be taking your comments. I have a blast segment. I tell you what, we have a ton, and I mean a ton of topics to talk about tonight as well. Lots and lots to talk about. Just a whole bunch of stuff here, and the way I see it, I don't have no guests on tonight, but it's still going to be a monster show based on that fact as well. So, all right, let's get into our Chinese wisdom. A clean conscience is a good pillow. So that is tonight's Chinese wisdom. A clean conscience is a good pillow. So there you are for tonight's Chinese wisdom. All right, let's get started here with the blast segment. But before we do that, I want to blast the people. And we're going to start off. I was going to wait till last, but I'm going to start off with this blast tonight. I was informed by a friend of mine. And, you know, I take my money, my friends, my serious, and my friends and my family and my time very seriously. Those are 4 things in my life you don't mess with, okay? And that is my time, my friends, my family, and my money, all right? Well, it turns out that a friend of mine who happens to work at Acrisure Stadium was working the Ed Sheeran concert, was parked in Gold Lot 1. And somebody on the way out of the show hit his car and never gave their insurance information. Not only did they not only just hit his car, but they didn't leave the insurance information. They just drove away. All right. It's considered a hit and run. So let me tell you this. All right. And I want to tell you this point blank. And I'm going to do this right now because the reason I'm doing this is because I want you to know something. Acrisure Stadium is going to find you. All right. In case you didn't know, and of course you probably were too drunk. You were at the Ed Sheeran concert, you're having a little too much to drink. You were at the party, you were too hyped up about the concert, not to be aware that there are cameras in those parking lots. Not to be aware that the fact that those are the things that are going to happen to you is the fact that they're going to find you. And when they do find you, you're going to be in trouble for a hit and run. All right. And then you're going to have to pay my friend back. So I just wanted to blast you tonight to tell you how much I think you're a moron for just leaving the scene of this accident that you created by plowing into his car and making some things in his car that are uncomfortable for him. Okay, so why would you even consider even doing that? All right. Well, again, like I said, you probably had too much to drink at the stadium. You were so hyped up because the show was probably so good. I've worked an Ed Sheeran show. I know exactly what happens. Okay. So I just wanted to let you know tonight about this. Those folks who know about this, be careful. Acrisure Stadium and and Landmark Security are coming to get you because you rammed into a car that belonged to a guy that worked for Landmark Security. Okay. They have cameras there. Acrisure Stadium will find you. All right. That's all I wanted to say tonight. You don't mess with my friends like that, or else I blast you here on this program. All right. Let's get started. Shop and save on Fifth Avenue, McKeesport. Shame on you. How in the world do you justify having a situation with a store? All right. And I'm talking about this store had mice droppings all over the place and mildew and filth and everything else inside inside a box of Cheerios. You ever hear the old saying, "Oh, what happened to you today? Somebody peed in your Cheerios?" Well, somebody did more than just didn't pee. They did a whole lot of something else in them Cheerios. Okay. And they were not off the shelf. All right. And there's mice droppings all over the place. And the health department has stepped in to shut down. I hope they shut this store down because I'm going to tell you what, that tonight is the way I see it about that store. Next, the Jehovah Witness people involved in sexual misconduct. Look, these people who are involved in this sexual misconduct, shame on you. And the reason I say shame on you is because you should have never been involved in this. You're a part of the Jehovah Witness. Okay? You're part of an organization that is religious. They have their own faith, as we talked about in the last show about the Mormons. I've talked about in the show. They have their faith. The Catholics have their faith. The Lutherans have their faith. The Presbyterians, the Methodists, everybody has their faith. And these kids and these people, girls that you molested, had faith in you. But no, the faith isn't there because the trust isn't there either. And that's the way I see it tonight. Next, the person in Ross Township who released the pythons. That's dangerous. If you didn't want the pythons from the beginning, why didn't you just take them to an animal sanctuary? And they have special sanctuaries, if you would have took the time to look it up, all over Pennsylvania, that has, an animal sanctuary somewhere where you can take your animals there that you don't want and get rid of them. But no, you didn't do that. You released them and didn't think it was going to be dangerous. Oh, well, these are pythons. They don't bite. Well, of course they don't bite, but still they're dangerous. Okay? They're dangerous. They're very, very dangerous. And you know what? You should have never did that. Shame on you. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, the Comcast raising fees. Comcast, Xfinity, they're at it again. Now they're raising fees one more time, and they keep on raising. They're raising to $40.31 on all TV plans. You know what? It's bad enough that the cable TV is losing money now because of these subscription services. And now they keep raising prices, thinking they can make up for losses because of this. Why don't you try to get better? Why don't you try to do things better? Why don't you cut the cost down? You think you would because of the subscribing services, but you don't. And that's the way I see it tonight about Comcast. Next, Wabtec Management. Wabtec. You want to know who they are? They have a small little contingency group of people that work out of Wilmerding or Pitcairn or wherever it is. And then they have a big 1,400 employee factory up in Erie. They're on strike right now. So what happened? Those folks that are on strike up here at the Erie plant came down to Pittsburgh to talk to Wabtec. They wouldn't talk to them. Wabtec has not been a faithful agreement in this. And I don't like when people do this, just like the Post-Gazette. I don't like what the Post-Gazette's doing either. But I'm having problems getting people on here to talk about the Post-Gazette strike. All right. Ed Blanza, who is a reporter for was a reporter for the Post-Gazette, has this Union Progress newspaper. And I don't know, for some strange reason, I can't get anybody on to talk anything about that strike. All right. So what I'm saying to you tonight, Wabtec, is watch what you're doing or you won't get blasted on this program. That's the way I see it tonight. And that's your blast segment tonight. Brought to you by DJ Fun. DJ Fun, call today, 412-545-4317. DJ Fun is a party, wedding, and also a special event DJ. Give them a call today, 412-545-4317. For the best 15 years of experience in DJ work. Plus, he will not, and I repeat, will not have you reaching in your pocket and only feeling your leg. And then also, you won't have to go out and take out a loan in order to hire DJ Fun. But give him a call today. Hey, the summer picnics are coming along here. Fall's coming along, Halloween parties. You also have some birthday parties. Give him a call today. Big time specialist in having all the music you need. 412-545-4317. All right, our Bonehead segment today. Our Bonehead segment is the guy, all right, who was broadcasting that he was going to kill himself at a Taco Bell. All right. Wow. Okay. The lady who worked a job remotely quit because her boss ordered her back to work. Tell you what, man, it gets worse and worse, but I get more and more boneheads every time on this program. Next, the three TSA officers at Miami International Airport who were caught stealing stuff from passengers. All right, the truck driver who got stuck at the Fort Pitt Boulevard in the Parkway ramp. PetSmart for overcharging people and having to pay back $1.46 million. That is our Bonehead segment tonight, brought to you in part by Draft 412. Draft 412 is a website that you need to check out. Draft 412 has all the skinny and all the lowdown on everything connected with a draft, anything from the NFL draft to this Sunday's baseball draft, who, of course, as you know, the Pirates drafted who they did. We'll talk about that tomorrow night on Sports Corner Radio, 5 p.m. Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM, 12:30 a.m., 1460 a.m. And your calls at 724-843-1888. Our guest, Chris Shefflin from Robert Morris University, to talk football and the basketball program. And then later on, we're going to have a guy named John Gaeta. John is going to be talking about Athletes Management Company, which he heads up. It's a brand new company just launched, and we're going to talk about that as we go along. All right, but Draft 412 not only gets into those drafts, they get into everything connected with any kind of a sports draft. We're talking about NBA draft, NHL draft, baseball draft, football draft, and then even in the offseason when there isn't anything like a draft, okay? Draft 412 will get into the off-season skinny of everybody that's going to be qualifying for the drafts next year. So get on their website, check it out. It's also an e-magazine, which they'll give to you for $9 a month in your email, and you can get everything you want that you'll need from them as well. Draft 412. Speaking of that, in 2 weeks, we're going to have on the Sports Corner Radio show, I'm going to have JB Ellis from Sideline Sports on to talk about baseball. Speak of the baseball draft itself, the whole draft, including what the Pirates did, and also we are going to have probably another guest or two on. I'll have to check that out, but as of right now, it's going to be JB Ellis. That's in 2 weeks on Sports Corner every Tuesday, 5 to 6 p.m. Beaver County Radio. Don't forget to tune in on Facebook and also on YouTube. Beaver County Radio has us live, myself and Smoking Jim Frazier. All right, tonight's life story, 4th of July. We had no Sports Corner. My family and I, we went to Mountaineer Racetrack down in West Virginia. And the reason I say, I want to say this about Mountaineer, it's not like it once was. When I used to go down there, Pennsylvania didn't have slot machines yet. They didn't have casinos. They didn't have anything like that. Sports book, none of that stuff. All right. Mountaineer was big. They had shows, big shows down there all the time. They had a lot of things. Well, they do. They have one coming up, I believe, in August. They have J.J. Walker from Good Times going to be down there playing. All right. So there we are. Once in a blue moon now, they have some really good entertainment, but it's not as consistent as it once was. Mountaineer's not as consistent as it once was either. I don't think it ever will be again because they don't have the casino business that they once had. Now that Pennsylvania has casinos, Ohio has slot machines in some of their racetracks, and everybody else around West Virginia, just like Atlantic City, has slot machines. Why do you think every year Atlantic City loses money? Well, that's one of the reasons, because they don't have the Pennsylvania business anymore like they once did. And now Delaware has slot machines in their racetracks, and if they put, I'm told they're going to start putting table games there. If they do that, I think Atlantic City's going to fall. Hasn't happened yet, but Atlantic City could fall. All right. Now, next on my life story for this week, the casino restaurant food it was etiquette. I had my fish was good. I didn't get a sandwich. I got the actual fish and chips. Turns out that the fish was very greasy, but it was a good fish. All right, I will say that, but it was very greasy. For some reason, somebody didn't clean out the fryer. All right. So then after we were done at the casino, and I did pretty well for myself down there, but after we left the casino, we went to Cracker Barrel. Stopped at the one in Robinson. Cracker Barrel was very good. I've never been to a Cracker Barrel yet where I've been unhappy. So we had a good meal there as well. Then came home here on the 4th of July, sat here in my apartment and looked right out my window and watched fireworks. Didn't have to sit out with a whole bunch of people. Didn't have to worry about getting shot. Didn't have to worry about getting stabbed. Didn't have to worry about getting robbed. Didn't have to worry about none of that. All right. Sit here in my building, look out my window, and watch fireworks. I enjoyed every minute of it. Okay. Sports Corner Radio, Smoking Jim and I did it on Thursday. We had 3 guests on. It was great. It was, as always, a super show. The show before this one that we had on Thursday, July 6th, drew 1,214 views on Facebook. Okay. So there we are. All right. We are getting more and more popular with the radio show, which I knew was going to happen. And last Monday, I explained to everybody as to why my emails are getting flooded with people wanting to know why. I don't know. I no longer do any of my shows on PCTV, and I told everyone that. So you have to watch last week's show to find out why. All right. Friday, went to Shop and Save on Noblestown Road. Poor stock. My mom couldn't find anything that she liked. My wife went in there, didn't find anything either. Okay. And it was an interesting day on Friday. It rained. I wasn't feeling very well to begin with, but we went shopping and we did what we had to do. And, so there we are on that. Wednesday, I forgot to mention, I was on with Peter Blake this past week. I was on by myself because 4th of July week, but that's fine. Usually it's myself, Mark, and Peter. We do a segment on the Sports Web show on Wednesday nights at 10:30 called Turnbuckle Talk, where we talk about professional wrestling. And not only that, Thursday, we had our Wrestle Talk show, and we invited a guest on, Bubba Brewer. We decided over the weekend, myself, Smoking Jim, and Mark Mancini, that Bubba's going to be part of the program. every single week now. So we're going to welcome Bubba Brewer to our program steady on the Wrestle Talk show. And this Saturday morning, we have the External Bum, which is also on Blog Talk Radio, 347-205-9631. It's picking up all across the country. All right, let's get to our comments section before we start our key topics. Noel says, hi, what's up, Ralph? I'm doing well. Thanks, Noel. Would you have any Jamarcus Russell on the program? No, Joel, I do not tonight, or Jarvis Jones either as well. Jarvis too slow. Jones, don't have him on the program either. But thank you very much, Noel. I hope you're listening into the radio show on Beaver County Radio. I know you, if you don't live in the Pittsburgh area, you can pick it up on Facebook. They're live on Beaver County Radio's Facebook page and also on their YouTube channel as well. All right, let's get into some key topics tonight. Let's start off with the first one here, the Beyonce concert that was canceled. It's really sad that the Beyonce concert was canceled. I mean, it was really kind of interesting, sad. It could have brought more revenue to the city. But here's the thing, okay? Nobody, and I mean nobody, has given any real rhyme or reason why they canceled this show. I'm curious to find out why. I heard some rumors, and I made some phone calls, and I found a couple things out here. Okay, number one, and I had heard this on a competitions program, and I agree with him, all right? And some of the competition, as I mentioned last week, is starting to agree with me as well, all right? And I agree with this person because this person said, and I quote, the real reason why Beyonce pulled out wasn't because the stage was too big, Acrisure Stadium smells, or anything like that. There was not enough tickets sold, okay? They only had 30,000 tickets sold, and then by the time the day of the show, they only had 35,000 sold. There has to be at least close to a sellout in order to do Acrisure Stadium. But here's the thing that bothers me, though, okay? The Pirates were not in town. I don't know if they are going to be in town. I haven't checked the schedule. But if the Pirates are not in town, why don't you make some arrangement and move it over to PNC Park? Shows have done that. They've been moved to PNC Park because the ticket sales were low. Okay? Rather than canceling the entire show for the entire time and not bringing it back. Okay? That's not the problem. The problem is communication. And then they failed to tell everybody, and then they waited until, 3 weeks before the show or a month before the show? Why didn't you tell us this 2 months ago if there were low sales? If you saw that that the sales were not going to be where you wanted them, all right? I seen them cancel Brad Paisley 5 years ago because they only sold 30,000 seats for Acrisure Stadium, okay? Look at Guns N' Roses. Look at the Motley Crue festival show they had last year. Look at some of these other shows. Look at Morgan Wallen. He's still having his 2 shows at PNC Park. He could have probably had 1 show at Acrisure Stadium and justified the whole thing. Okay? I have seen concerts at PNC Park after Pirate games. They're not bad. I worked at the last Ed Sheeran concert 5 years ago. And it's nice there for concerts. It's not a bad place to watch a show. Okay? I probably would rather watch a show there than at Acrisure Stadium, Heinz Field. All right? Gary, thanks for watching as always, Gary. Do you think one of the problems is not enough young people vote? No, I don't think so. All right? And then here's the thing that really bothers me. You got all these activist people out here squawking the beef because, Beyonce's black, so you canceled the show, and that's racism. No, it's not racism. No, not enough tickets were sold. And who goes to these shows? Mostly white folks that go to Beyonce shows. All right? Rather than, drinking booze or smoking pot or whatever, or too many cigarettes. All right? Maybe you should cut back for a month or 2 and purchase tickets to see Beyonce if you want to go to the show. All right? But don't sit there and complain and call people names because, Beyonce's show was canceled. That's racism. No, it's not. No, it's not. Not enough tickets were sold. I found that out. Okay? All right. That's the way I see it tonight about the Beyonce show. Fireworks downtown. As always, there's always some kind of problem. Somebody got robbed. Firecrackers went off. People ran out of Point State Park. Security did the best it could. All right. Yes, Gary, a lot of problems with the Steelers. Steelers need to there's a lot of problems, but I think they rectified them. We'll talk about it tomorrow afternoon on Beaver County Radio. All right. Getting back to the fireworks. Always, every year, there's always problems. That's why the attendance has been dropping. Have you noticed that? Now, I remember when they used to draw 500,000 or more people in downtown Pittsburgh at the point for the fireworks. And the attendance has dropped every year. And this year, they barely made 200,000 people. All right. Because people have had enough. They're not going to that no more. My retired pastor went about, I think it was right before COVID, or was it 18? I think it was 18, 2018 he went. Him and his wife were walking to their car. They were on their way. They had to pass the Wood Street subway station, go to 9th Street to get their car. If they would have been, I'd say 5 minutes slower, they would have ran into that shooting that happened down at the subway station, at the T station. Okay. This goes on every year. And the city will sit there and tell you they have the place secure. We got 256,000 officers. I don't care if you have a million officers. You're not going to be able to completely, perfectly have this fireworks display ever go on anymore. Because that's the society that we live in right now. We have too many imbeciles out there. We have too many knuckleheads. We have too many morons. And we have all these people out here that just think that it's okay to just do whatever. Okay? Just do it. Just interrupt everything. Who cares whether or not? Because it boils down to, my theme for this year. Nobody cares. And they don't. All right? That's the way I see it tonight about the fireworks. Now, behind me, I'm a big fan of Lizard Lick Towing. Went down to Raleigh to attend to my aunt, and you've heard this story many times, to my aunt's business down there when she passed away in 2019. Went down there in 2022 before COVID. Went down there, stopped at Lizard Lick Towing out there in Denton, North Carolina. No, that's about 15 minutes from Raleigh. Went out there. They used to have a show on the True TV network, and they don't, because True TV doesn't have those kind of shows anymore, reality shows. And it was a reality show about they have they tow cars that need to be repoed or whatever for these insurance companies and for these companies who don't pay up on their payments, finance companies. They call them and they go and repo the car. Well, a curveball was thrown at everybody. Okay. And what happened was they took True TV, decided in their infinite wisdom, other than Impractical Jokers, which is the only thing that's on right now, okay, is the Impractical Jokers. Everything else is gone. All right. They took Hardcore Pawn off. They took Lizard Lick Towing off. They took, what was it, that other towing, Repo, Operation Repo, and all them other shows that were on there, they took them off. Okay. Went there, took pictures with Ron Shirley. Amy was there, said hello to everybody. Bought some souvenirs. Bought the license plate you saw that was behind me as a, as a part of the show here. But I called down there and I asked to speak to Ron Shirley. And of course, he wasn't there, which he never is. Well, he's busy. He's out working. I don't blame him. But I have a problem. And my problem. Nobody returns my phone calls or my emails. And I'm having some issues with that right now and some stuff that I'm not going to talk about because I don't choose to. All right. But I get tired of that. And I think that you should too. I think it's ignorant. I think it's downright disrespectful that you not return my phone calls. I was trying to recruit Ron Shirley to be on my Ralph Williams one-on-one show. Never got back to me. I've called 3 times down there. You know what? 3rd time, strike 3, you're out. I'm done. So I decided tonight to take the Lizard League thing down and maybe get rid of his souvenirs because he doesn't seem to want to take the time to give me a call. I don't care if he tells me no, I'm not interested. I don't care. But have some decency, Ron, to at least pick up the phone and call me. Or at least email me. Take 2 seconds. Have Amy do it. Okay? But don't disrespect me like that. I wouldn't do that to you or your family or anything else. So why would you do it to me? Okay? All right? And you should be, you know what, Ron? You should actually be happy that someone like me is reaching out to you to be on their show. You should be happy about that. That you'd want to make a quick phone call or a quick email to me and say, hey, Ralph, yeah, oh, yeah, I'm interested. That's great. I hope it, I would love to have you on or be on your show. All right. But no, this is the kind of disrespect that I'm still getting here. And I've been doing this show now for 3 years. And it's impossible to figure out why it continues to happen. Okay. And this, again, is another I don't care kind of society we live in. Nobody cares. All right. And there's something else going on, too, that I'm getting disrespected for. I'm not getting return phone calls and emails from, and I'm not going to go into that. Okay. All right. Next on our key topic, school voucher program. Governor Shapiro has vetoed it. All right. Now, this program is supposed to help poor families that need help with education. A guy that I work with at Beaver County Radio, or we work together, we're on the station together. He has a morning show during the week. His name is Mike Roma, and he interviewed one of the state reps from Beaver County. So anyway, what had happened was he was, oh, thanks, Ron. Well, how about flipping me an email or flipping me a phone call? I left it with your secretary or the lady that answered the phone at your shop. Thank you. All right. Anyway, so there we are there. Ron Shirley responding. That's great to hear. Okay. But anyway, the voucher program is supposed to help poor families send their kids to school. Okay. But Mike brought up a very good point to the state rep. Why should we pay taxes for underperforming schools districts and schools? Okay. And I agree with him on that because the reason I say this is because he is right. He is right about that. Someone that gets involved in a voucher at a school, and they have their kid in a school, and the school doesn't teach well, and the schools these days aren't teaching well anyway. Okay. They're complaining right now there's a teacher shortage. Okay. And Tom says, why would we pay taxes for money that isn't properly used? Yes, exactly. And this was the very first time I really saw Mike really get frustrated with this state rep, because this state rep was sitting there going on and on about how great this was. Well, you know something? I don't like it either. I'm an alum from the Pittsburgh Public Schools. I had Jake Helk on this program about 2 weeks ago. And you know what he said? It's this school district, and it's the truth, has been a disgrace. Bad, board members, poor management of everything, bad principals, bad teachers, bad everything. All right. And it's been run down for a long time. They've closed schools up. They have school buildings sitting out there that I've said many times need to be used for homeless shelters, need to be used for affordable housing. All right. We talked about this last week and the week before, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But what I am going to say is, all right, is the fact that I agree with what the governor did. Okay. He turned it down. It's not going to work. Okay. How about if you're going to create the school voucher program, how about going after these school districts that waste money? How about going after these school districts that don't teach right? How about going after these school districts that have they don't have proper security for their schools, which is why we have a teacher shortage in this country. The schools are not secure enough. Now, let me ask you this as a taxpayer. Would you pay more taxes if you had better security for kids in school and the teachers? Tell me. Tom says Pittsburgh public school taxes should have been used properly to maintain all buildings properly. Yes. But Tom, they have buildings that are vacant that have been sitting there for a long time. They haven't sold them yet. And the ones that they do sell them to are for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month apartments a month that people cannot afford. We talked about this last week about how we have these buildings in there, and these folks that can't afford those apartments keep moving in and pushing everybody else out. I know what you're saying. Well, those people cause crimes. Some do, some don't. There's not all bad people out there. But there are a few people that make things terrible in a neighborhood. And those few are the ones that make it bad for everybody else. All right. And Tom says, how about using the tax dollars to properly pay teachers and fund programs properly? Absolutely. But when it comes to discipline and it comes to school security, I don't want to hear about programs. I want to hear what you're going to do to enforce this. I want to know what you're going to do about it. I want to know when you're going to start hauling parents to the carpet. That's what I want to know. And I want to know when the teachers and the school districts are going to start working together for the better education of the child. Okay? That is the stuff that you have to do. All right? In order to make it perfect for all the school districts in and around anywhere, it requires good security. It requires proper teachers. It requires good education, and and good administration and school boards and things. You vote for these school board people. Why don't you vote them out? The guy that was handling my area, he resigns at the end of his term. He's done. He don't want to do it no more. Why? I don't know. Maybe I can find out. I was going to run. I thought about it. I turned it down. I don't have the time. Okay. I have this. I have the Sports Corner Radio, which is getting big. I'm on podcasts around the country. I have my, my national shows on Blog Talk Radio. I don't have the time to deal with that right now. I am concerned about it because I'm an alum of the school district and I think it's poor. They've had a transportation problem for many years where they have to shove these kids on Pittsburgh Regional Transit buses. I was the one who is the president of the Allegheny County Transit Council who voted down, who told the board to vote down putting these kids on the bus and giving them free bus passes. Because I want the Pittsburgh Public Schools to get their act together. Then come and talk to us and we'll talk to you. Okay? And if you think I'm wrong, fine. I don't care if you think I'm wrong. Because I think I'm right with what I'm saying. All right? Travis says, I'm the man. Thank you, Travis, for watching. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Ron Shirley, for responding. It took this to get you to respond. Thanks, Ron. All right. You know where to find me. All right. So where do we go with this? Oh, Governor Shapiro, he turned down the voucher program. My kid can't go to school. Yeah, your kid can go to school if your kid learns how to behave and not run the teacher down the toilet. Okay. Joel says, big fan. Wanted to say what's up. How are you, Joel? Thank you. And I'm doing well. And we're having a great show tonight, as we always do. And I have a lot of viewers here that are responding, and I appreciate that as well. Sports Corner is already on the radio. This show's about to go on the radio next. And it's about to get higher and higher and bigger. RW Media is getting bigger. And we're getting there. With or without Pittsburgh radio stations. Okay? Some of the ones who basically, more and more of that. You know what I'm talking about. The old boys gang still around. You know what I'm saying. I go no further. I have too much to talk about to worry about that tonight. Next, Mayor Gainey taking over city departments. You know what? This is out of control. And I know Mayor Gainey wants to fix some of these city departments, but he's taken too many of them over. Okay? Worry about running the city as a whole. Fix the police department, which you're slowly working on. We're going to talk about that later on tonight, too, as well tonight. We have plenty to talk about, believe it or not. Okay? All right? He wants to take over all these departments. I'm glad he's taken over the housing authority of the city of Pittsburgh, because somebody got to whip this into shape. All right? Just slowly, baby steps. Finally getting some things done around here. All right? But, it's a slow process, just like everything else is slow. All right? That's the way I see it tonight about Mayor Gainey. Next, Century 3 Mall owner fined over $200,000. You know who else should be fined and hauled to the carpet? Why hasn't West Mifflin, or why hasn't, or not West Mifflin, why hasn't the county and the state hauled West Mifflin to the carpet, the government there, for doing this? All right. Oh, no, it's a waste of property, and it's a waste of tax money just sitting there as it is. And it's bad enough that West Mifflin caused the issue themselves by not cracking down on this a long time ago. This mall has been a relic for many years. People have been trespassing, sleeping, living in there, junkies in there, selling drugs, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. The last incident, after the owner promised, he really promised 24-hour security there. Some kid goes through the roof because he was climbing up there and playing around and everything else. All right. So here we are, once again, another thing with Century 3 Mall. But now the owners are getting fined. That's great. I'm glad. For bad ethics and everything else. Okay. All right. Tom says for the mayor to run qualified people to run those departments. You're exactly right, Tom. Because Peduto had some unqualified people running his departments when he was mayor. I can tell you that right now. I know that for a fact. I had it out with a couple of them. And you know me, Tom, I'm not afraid to say something. Or get in anyone's face to say something. Because I think it's wrong. And on this program, it's happening as well. All right. That's the way I see it about Century 3 Mall. Next, the city has canceled the grant to keep the scooters. Oh my. Actually, you know what? I'm happy about that. I'm really happy. That's why I'm so happy about this. These scooters have been nothing but a menace. It starts with the company itself. They have an attitude problem. And I think I've told you this story a few times. I was over at PCTV when I had this show and Sports Corner on PCTV. I would go over to tape the show and do my live broadcast with Smoke and Jim Frazier of Sports Corner over on the north side. Okay. The headquarters for the scooters, the company that actually handles them, okay, was next door. So my wife and I found that out, and what we did was we compiled a list together, and my wife went over and said, tap, tap, tap on the door. They said, well, we can't do anything about that. You have to call 311. Okay, that's just like I said before when I told you about the police. Call 911. Call 911. Housing authority here, the city of Pittsburgh, they want to take responsibility for nothing here. Call police. I got a tenant harassing me, bothering me, calling me, bothering me, bothering my wife, harassing both of us. And every time that happens, I have to call the police. I call management. They don't care. Call police, they say. I call downtown the executive office. How about doing something, get this guy out of here for harassing people? Call police. Call police. I get a call from the executive office because the mayor told him to. And they give me the same song and a dance, about, oh, well, it's going to take us too long to evict somebody. And here we are. Okay. Let's get back to the scooters now. Same concept. Nobody cares. Tells me to call 311. So I call 311, and I was doing it for a while, and I got tired of it. You know why? Because I got tired of seeing them everywhere, and I'm the only one that calls them in. That's like potholes. Nobody calls the city about potholes. I do. I don't want my vehicle getting ruined. Do you? Yeah, you must, because you don't call in. I'm the one that calls. Carl the fan, do I have any thoughts on, well, whatever? Okay. But I do appreciate you watching, Carl. Thank you. So anyway, getting back to this, I'm glad they're gone. They were a nuisance. I saw 2 and sometimes 3 kids on one scooter. So if you're going to have these rules for these scooters, then don't. All right. Then please don't have these scooters. If you're going to have rules, you're not going to enforce them. And of course, the city police is too busy to enforce them. All right. You got them laying on sidewalks. You got them laying in handicap ramps, which I can't ride my scooter up, which I find very appalling. Instead of putting them back at the stations where they belong, you put them there. You just leave them there. You don't care. You don't care that somebody can't walk up the sidewalk, has to walk out in the street and get hit by a car because they got to walk around it. I think that the scooters would have stayed if you, the people who ride these scooters, instead of crying on the news, the scooters are going away and I got to call Uber. Well, you know what? If you would have put the scooter back where it belonged and out of everybody's way and wouldn't make it so much of an inconvenience for everybody else, the scooters would have been here. I think somebody would have made a faster move to get another grant to keep the scooters here. It was on a pilot program for 2 years. And it was a mess. And I told you how they handle it down in Raleigh. They don't play. They have those scooters down there. They have them in Youngstown. They're nice and neat. They're not on the sidewalk. They're not blocking the handicap ramp. They're not in everyone's way. They're not in the tunnel. They're not on the parkway. I've seen them everywhere. They're a menace. There was even one parked right up here behind our building, blocking the handicap ramp. Blocking the corner where the fire hydrant is, and the fire department can't get in there. All right? If things like that wouldn't go on, them scooters would still be here. Right? Yeah. That's the way I see it tonight about the scooters. Glad they're gone. All right, next, Charlie Batch and his comments about the 4th of July. I agree with Charlie Batch. If Pittsburgh police and these police departments would do their jobs, this stuff wouldn't go on, and Charlie Batch wouldn't be on Twitter complaining about this. After midnight, there should be no fireworks. None. Zero. Okay? You have plenty of leeway now to go out and buy fireworks the way you want them to and use them responsibly. But you don't, and then we have problems. So there has to be laws made, and the laws are that you can't launch fireworks after midnight. But we don't have law enforcement doing anything about it. And what happens is you get folks like Charlie Batch and a lot of other people that complain about it. You live in one of these small municipal areas, municipalities, boroughs, or whatever, townships that don't enforce the law or do anything. All right. And that's sad. But then you have some municipalities and some boroughs that do things. That's why those boroughs don't have high taxes. That's why those boroughs have good police departments. That's why people move into those areas, because they don't have all these problems like everyone else does. All right. All right. Joey Chestnut. Those of you who don't know who Joey Chestnut is, once again, you're hiding under a rock, or you don't watch the news, or you're playing too much Xbox. Joey Chestnut is the person who eats, who's the 16-time champion of the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Okay. No, Joe, I did not have a bad experience with scooters. I can't get on one because I have a scooter of my own. It's a handicap scooter. The scooters we're talking about are those ones where everyone rents and they ride around town on them, and they don't cooperate with traffic. They don't cooperate with anything. They don't have knee pads or helmets or elbow pads. They don't wear none of that stuff. And they're reckless with them. All right. They leave them on sidewalks. Okay. So that's why, Joe, I have a problem with them. Okay. All right. So Joey Chestnut won the Nathan's hot dog eating contest once again. But this year he didn't break his record. His record was 76 last year. This year he only ate 62, but he still won. He's 16-time champion. Congrats to Joey Chestnut. I don't know if I'd want to do that as a career, but that's what he does. All right. He does that for a living. And now he's doing pistachio commercials now. All right. That's the way I see it tonight. Cocaine in the White House. We're only going to talk about this for a little bit. But cocaine in the White House, I think Donald Trump did it. I'm going to do like everyone else does and blame Donald Trump. Okay. So I think he had something to do with this. So, all right. Next, the state budget and education. We talked earlier about the voucher program, education in this state. And now we have a state budget once again that's being held up. Now, I thought that when Dictator Wolf got out of office, and I said this before, I thought with Josh Shapiro here, more willing to work with people, this budget would be done. And it's not. All right. Because once again, we have politicians that can't work with each other. Once again, you, the voter, and me, the voter, and everyone else, the voter, went out there and put these clowns in here. I didn't. You did. Okay. Some of these people I didn't vote for because I don't like their progressive stance. Defund police, get rid of fracking, no bail or bail for people. You got a guy who shoots 10 people and he wants to, and the judge lets him out on bail. Oh, it's not right to put all these people in there. Lime Scooter Company CEO said, we're going to shut down this stream. Good. Go ahead and shut it down. You better remove it. No, I'm not removing nothing. You don't tell me what to do, Lime Scooters. You don't like what I have to say? Too bad. Okay? Don't be ignorant to people. Call 311. What, you couldn't take that list and go do your thing? No, call 311. That is laziness, and that is disrespectful to a person in this town who pays taxes. To a person who lives in the city here who is trying to get scooters removed from the street. All right. But anyway, the state budget once again tied up. No one wants to work together in Harrisburg. And you know how that goes. That's the way I see it tonight. City police. Whoa, oh, I got to give them an applaud. The city police finally arrested drug dealers downtown. They now have, with this new chief, a drug enforcement unit now. Whoa, I'll tell you what, man. Jeez. Yeah. Isn't that nice? Oh my gosh. Spread the word. They finally busted and arrested drug dealers and cleaned up downtown with that. I just wish they'd clean up the homeless a little bit more. Now you got the tents back up around the Smithfield Street Bridge at Fort Pitt Boulevard. You got that other tent camp on First Avenue because they can't find nowhere for them to go. Now, let me ask you this. If you can't find anywhere for these people to go, why did you find places for the people at the Smithfield shelter? But these First Avenue people have been sitting in that tent camp there at Grant and First Avenue for the longest time. I've called it in twice. And I got the same story twice. Oh, we're trying to find somewhere for them to go. Well, there's only, 5 tents there? What's that, 5, maybe 10 people if there's 2 people staying there in each tent? That's 10 people. So you could take them somewhere else and have them go there. All right? Okay? But anyway, I'm happy. I'm really happy about this. I am. I got to give it to the city police, man. They went down, they cleaned up the drugs out of downtown finally. They arrested a bunch of people. Put them in jail. Wow. Isn't that nice? Why didn't you do that before? Why did you wait till a new police chief came in to do it? Why didn't you do it before? Why did Mayor Gainey pass a thing down to the cops not to arrest drug dealers downtown? Why? Now all of a sudden you go in, you clean it up. Why? Oh, wait, I know why. Because Taylor Swift was here for 2 shows. There was 100,000 people in downtown. There was drug dealers everywhere. But you should have cleaned it up before that. You had the Furbies here and the convention guy on TV complaining they're losing conventions because downtown is a monstrosity. Okay? It's terrible. All right, that's a step in the right direction there. The city finally did that. Thank you. I'm glad. Continue to do it. And then you got Mayor Gainey going, well, downtown is the hub center of our whole city. It belongs to everybody. But it don't belong to drug dealers. And it don't belong to criminals who keep causing problems. Okay? It belongs to the people who lease businesses, who live downtown, who go through downtown to get where they need to be. All right? It's the way I see it tonight. All right. We're going to get into our topics and then our top 10, and we're going to wrap things up here on the way I see it every Monday night, 7 p.m. here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter platforms. All right. So there we are. All right. Our regular topics for tonight: Giant Eagle in Erie. Locations will not be charging for plastic bags. All right. That's the way I see it tonight. Shake Shack coming to Pittsburgh at the new terminal in the Strip. You know what's interesting? You can go down to one of these places, and I heard the milkshake factory is this, but people love it though. I heard they charge $7, $10 or so for a milkshake. Why would I want to pay that kind of money for a milkshake? Okay. But that's what this place is going to be charging. All right. So if you want to go down the Strip to the new terminal building and go to Shake Shack and have a shake, go ahead. All right. All right. That's where we are, though. All right. Next. And that's the way I see it. Disney shutting down the Indiana Jones roller coaster starting September 15th. Oh, my. Wow. That's not cool at all. All right. That's the way I see it tonight. Pigeon Bagels in Squirrel Hill has been rated one of the nation's best bagel shops. All right. All right. That's the way I see it tonight. Jimmy and Rose Carter, 77 years married. Whoa. That's the way I see it. Dunkin' Donuts stopping free donuts on your birthday day. They're stopping that now. I guess maybe too many people on their birthday came in looking for donuts and donuts and donuts. And, that's, they say America runs on Dunkin'. Well, that don't look like it. That's for sure. All right, let's get into our top 10 and we'll wrap things up. Top 10 states to be poor in. All right. Number 10, Maine. All right. Number 9, Wisconsin. Number 8, New Hampshire. Number 7, Michigan. Number 6, Indiana. Number 5, Kentucky. Number 4, Ohio. Number 3, Pennsylvania. Number 3 in the country of top 10 states to be poor in. Number 2, Vermont. And number 1 state to be poor in, West Virginia. All right. I want to thank everyone for watching tonight. I want to thank everyone for all their comments tonight as well, and all the fake comments as well, and all the fake names too. I know all about it. You don't have to tell me. So, but I just want to let you know, I want to thank you as well. So thank you for being part of the program tonight, and I appreciate everyone's viewing. Don't forget, we're here every Monday night, 7 p.m. for The Way I See It. Tomorrow, 5 to 6 p.m., Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM, 1230 a.m., 1460 a.m., and also live on Beaver County Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel. Sports Corner with myself, Smoking Jim Frazier, our guest Chris Shefflin, and John Gaetti. So I just want to let you know who's all going to be there tomorrow night. And Wednesday, don't forget about Peter Blake and the Sports Web, brought to you by Amped Up Sports, who happens to be one of the sponsors of Sports Corner. And then we're on at 10:30. Myself, Mark Mancini, Peter Blake. We talk professional wrestling on Turnbuckle Talk. Also, don't forget on Thursday night, 7:30, Wrestle Talk with myself, Mark Mancini, Smoking Jim Frazier, and our new co-host, Bubba Brewer. So he makes his debut as our official fourth person on the show. And that's Thursday night, 347-205-9631 is the number to call if you want to listen in to the show. And don't forget, Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m., myself, Mark Mancini, Joe Kuglis, and the External Bum Podcast. Have a great one and be safe. Thank you.